is Detric Smith with Trainer Talk, and today we're going to talk over things I wish I knew after graduating college there, after getting that certification when it comes to having a long career in fitness here. So, we're going to start off, and this is a condensed version of a speech I gave to a local college a few weeks ago, their personal training staff and their rec department. So we're gonna go over tips to get hired in the personal training field, background of different places that hire you, and how to make money in the fitness industry. And we're also gonna look at this from the perspective of the client and the person who plans to hire you here. We're gonna start off with tips for getting hired. The person who plans to hire you, what are they thinking there? So I'd say the basics, you want to have the certification there, possibly have the college degree kind of based on the position that you're going for. But there's also a lot of entry level positions where you might not need the certification or you can be in the process of getting that. So the big questions we had here when we hire. So I own a personal training studio and I hire trainers and interns all the time. The things that we're thinking about are the little things, are the big things. So, will this person show up on time at 5 o'clock in the morning? There, of course, because we work early here in the personal training industry. Are you dependable? Do you have a strong work ethic? Do you fit in with the culture and our members? Your personality, positive energy that you bring. Are you a team player? And so we're just thinking it's way more than having a certification and degree there. We know that if you have those things, we can teach the rest there. If you're dependable, you have a strong work ethic, good personality, you're a team player. We can teach you how to become a great trainer, and you have a little bit of a background with that certification and degree hopefully as you work towards those. What are we thinking here? You want to understand the person that you're interviewing with. So, do your research on them. Mention things about our business or the place that you're interviewing for. That shows us that you did some research. That's always big. The next thing up, you want to watch your social media profile. You better believe that if you have something on Facebook and Instagram, the person that's going to hire you is looking at these things here, and you don't want them to have to look at it and you have a bunch of cursing and a bunch of pictures with no clothes on and you think this person is going to hire you there. Master the first impression. So first impression, this comes way before you walk into the door there. So we're looking for little details like how fast do you respond to email, how you write in your emails, how you coming when you get to the interview, how you dress at an interview, your follow-up emails. Those are the things that are going to matter more than just your college degree or your certification here. Some more tips for getting hired here, but as personal trainers, we need to be professionals there. So in the personal training industry, sometimes this gets lost here when it comes to personal training, but just like any other job, if you want to have a long career, you have to be a professional. It seems so basic, but just doing the little things right. You'd be surprised at how many interviews I've had where they don't do those little things right. They don't know how to dress for the interview. They're sending emails like they're sending text messages. So if you're dealing with someone who's trying to hire somebody that's going to represent their facility, we want professionals there. This is another one here that might help you out. Give us a compliment. It shows. Give us a compliment. Take the time to let us know that you did some research. I've had some people where they'll say, "Hey, I had a chance to see your article that you wrote for this magazine or wrote for this site," and that feels good. I mean, you're starting off, very well if you can get on our good side. And even if it seems a little cheesy, at least we know that you did some research into who we are and our business there. The next thing here, you want to don't be afraid to get your resume out everywhere. Get experience getting interviews there. Don't take it personal if a place does not hire you because you never really know what that place is looking for. In some cases, maybe as an entry level person, you might be in a better situation to get hired at certain places there. Another thing here, going into different places to work at here, and part-time versus full-time. So personal training is the perfect part-time job. I know I had it as a part-time job when I had other personal training jobs, when I was a teacher for a bit, when I was coaching. So sometimes you need to get those reps in, even if your goal is to be a full-time trainer. You might be in a situation where that full-time money might not be there, so you can do it as a part-time job and work your way in to having that full-time job. It looks great on your resume too. So full-time, you want to understand the path that you're taking long term here. Maybe you want to be a fitness director somewhere. Maybe you want to own your own business. Maybe you want to do something online. And I mean, there's different ways to make money when it comes to fitness there. And like other things, some people have different skill sets, whether they're great writers and they can help write for a lot of these fitness personalities and businesses and gyms. They're great speakers there. So there's different ways to make money when it comes to fitness, and don't just think just in terms of just being a personal trainer. Now I'm going to talk over kind of my experience in like big gyms, studios, sports performance centers, because I've been fortunate enough to work in quite a few different settings there. I'm going to emphasize these are this is my experience here, and feedback from others that I've been in contact with. I've been doing this for 20 years now. I've owned results performance training for 10 years, so I have a lot of experience. I haven't worked in every single setting, but start off with big gyms here, like your big, huge, whether it's a Crunch or different places like that. LA Fitness, your big, massive gyms, they're all over the place. So typically they have more opportunities. They're going to hire more people. I know a lot of people look down on this, but you have to get your start somewhere. Most people get started at the big gyms. They have more positions, whether it's a fitness attendant if you're not quite ready to be a personal trainer yet. Personal trainers, fitness directors, there. So some of these places, though, you have to be aware that they have more of an emphasis on sales. Everyone has an emphasis on sales, but I've worked at some of these places where they're going to put your name on the board, and you're going to be ranked by how much money you've made as a personal trainer, and everyone sees that. So just be ready for that. A lot of these places are going to promote good trainers who are great at sales, and I didn't say people that are good at sales and great trainers for a reason there. So I've had a lot of people that they come into this industry to train people. They get promoted into a sales position that might be look like it's a fitness position, and then they get burned out because all they're doing is doing sales all day there. So just do your research on the places, talk to different people that have had these positions before, ask us a lot of questions there. Another thing that might not seem like a negative is sometimes people get promoted too quick and they don't develop those skills there. They get burned out and they end up thinking, if this is your first position, they end up thinking that everything in fitness is just like this. And one reason why I'm doing this talk here is to give you a background on different places, because there's so many different ways to make money in the fitness industry. You have to just get your experience there, and you have to love this in order to have a long full-time career in fitness. Mentorship at big gyms. In my experiences, I did not have as much mentorship compared to some of the smaller places and some of my coaching positions there in sports performance. But when it comes to mentorship there, I personally didn't receive it at some of these big gyms, but I've talked to a lot of places that they have very good mentorship at the big gym, at some of the big gyms, and they've had a great experience with trainer development there. That wasn't my experience. My experience was there was a lot of push for sales there. The next one we're going to talk about places like YMCA's and recs and some of your smaller places. I have not worked at a YMCA or rec. I've worked out at these places. I know a lot of people that have worked at these places. The general feedback is there's less of a high pressure sales environment for their training staff. There's still lots of opportunities there. Great place to work at for a lot of people as you're getting your first time job. They're in the fitness industry. They still have different things like fitness attendants, a lot of them in personal trainers. And there's growth within for, even if it's not so much training position, there's a lot of positions there within their rec department and their health and wellness departments at rec centers and YMCA's and places like this. Studios. So I own a studio now. When I started off, I worked at a studio a few hours while I was working at a big gym. A lot of people in personal training, their goal is to work at a studio or own a studio. They like that personal small feel there. So it's going to be harder to get positions simply because there are less positions. And a lot of times you have to, have that specialty there. You have to bring something to the table that the current staff doesn't always bring to the table. I think they're better for internships and your mentorships, in my experience. I might be biased because I hire interns and I do a lot of mentorship here. But you have to think a lot of these smaller studios, they're making their money off of personal training and versus just memberships of people walking in and doing their own workouts. They have to develop strong trainers and they have to stand out here. So usually harder to get for I'd say for positions at first, but internships, mentorships, you might want to reach out to these places there. They typically do a very good job of developing trainers. Next thing is sports performance and strength conditioning. I did this briefly. I started off, I had my CSCS. I worked at, volunteered at college in the college setting. I worked at sports performance centers and I was also coaching at like high school levels too. So I did this starting off my career. This was kind of the initial goal was to go into that, or I really wanted to work with athletes there. So things you want to think about is, and I don't do that as much now. I still work with athletes, but the base of our business there's working with, say, the over 40, over 50 crowd. They just want to get in shape and kind of move on with their life and get on with their life there. So I'd say sports performance centers and strength conditioning places, they might exist more in certain areas of our country there. There I know I worked at a franchise that's not really around anymore. They don't have too many of those locations around. They typically have higher qualifications. Whether you have to get your CSCS, you have to have your degree. There's a lot of competition there out for these jobs, and there's not as many jobs. So just be ready to compete for your job as a coach. And if you coach with like a team, sometimes that career stability is not there. Meaning you've seen it before. Everyone, even the strength conditioning coach, can get fired at some of these places when the head coach is there. We see this happening in the college setting or pro setting quite a bit there. Group fitness franchise is the next one there. So if you're into group fitness is your goal, that's great. Some of these head coaches get paid very well. Some of the part-time coaches also. Just make sure you continue to grow and get different experiences there. So I always tell a lot of personal trainers to be ready to train group because I learned a lot of things training group that help personal training. A lot of things that help with personal training that help me train group. I know I have a place that we make a large percentage of our money now off of group fitness and group training. And when I first came out, I was one of those personal trainers that said I would never really into that. But when you're able to shape and mold and have your own form of group training that fits your system, then it's something you might like. So but working at some of these group fitnesses, especially the franchises, just be wary. Just know that some of these places they're around for 5 to 7 years, then they're gone. So I've been doing this for 20 years now. I know that a lot of things that were extremely popular back when I started, they're no longer around now. So just get a wide variety of different experiences at these places there. So it's just be do your research and think about what your long-term goals are there. Get different experiences. There's a wide range of pay for all of these places there. So if you ever have any like specific questions over those, you can send me an email or talk to me about that because I mean there's a wide range of experiences you can have of how much you're actually going to get paid at these places and what you can really expect when you're first starting out versus when you've been doing it for a longer period of time. Another thing here is if this is your passion, this is your love there, you want to get your experiences and realize that every experience is not going to be a great experience. But when you look back on it, those are going to be some of your great experiences, or you're going to have the career detours that a lot of people come in thinking that in 3 or 5 years they've graduated, they have their college degree, they have their certification, they deserve to own their own business and do their own thing. It doesn't work out that way. I know for me, kind of the best thing that ever happened to me was having to leave my that first full-time training job to go teach in order to make money, to go coach, to do those things. So when I learned that the things that I learned from teaching and coaching, they allowed me to become a better trainer there because that's pretty much what training's about. You're teaching, you're coaching, you're motivating there, you're getting a chance to learn different personalities and develop them. So everything happens for a reason, good and bad experiences, embrace them, learn, and then move on here. The next topic we're going to talk about, things that I wish I knew here. Are you able to help the 99.9% of the population? We talked about this a little bit already, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, but and I'm not saying you can't make a career training athletes or training those who are already in shape. I'm just saying this area is saturated and everybody's going after them, especially when they're in their 20s and they're getting out and they feel like that's like the jackpot of working with people there. Get your different experiences there because I know I'm happy I had all of those experiences early in my career working with different populations, even though at the time I might not, that wasn't the goal. Because right now I've changed a lot over the years and businesses have changed and competition around us has changed. And now I'm in a position where I can shift and move and adapt and still have a successful business model there. And I'm in a good situation now where I can work with these populations there because of the money that is coming in from our general population clients there. And I love the variety that I had throughout the day here. So this is something that I would just recommend that you branch out and try different things and don't get so stuck on I just want to work with athletes or I just want to work with these people that are preparing for shows or whatever it is. Get a wide experience there and work with different people. I'd say right now, if you're someone who has the ability to work with that older population who just wants to get in shape, you're going to be in demand and you're always going to have a job in fitness because you see these franchises and these fitness places popping up and they're throwing 30 or 40 people in a room. Even in the middle of COVID, they're doing this. The people that are going to spend money and stay with you, a lot of them want that personal, that semi-private. They want more attention. A lot of them fall into that category of being over 40, over 50. They have an injury or two, and they go to these places and they're injured in the first week, or they go to a big gym and they don't know where to start. So I would say our business does very well targeting this population. You want to be able to work with that population because you might be in your 20s now, and if you want to have a long career in fitness, you might not know who you're going to be working with in 10, 20, or 30 years from now there. So, you know, keep an open mind as into who you want to work with. Experience the different things there. A bad experience might tell you that you don't want to do this for the rest of your life. And that's a very good thing to have, especially early on in your career there. So going back into working with can you serve the 99.9% versus the 1% talking about athletes here. Another thing you want to think about is we notice a trend and you might have your athletes for 3 to 4 months out of a year versus the entire year. That's not a great business model to have there as a foundation there. And once again, I'm not saying you cannot make money training athletes or those already in shape. I'm just pointing out the fact that you might not want to go all in on this, or you might want to have a wide base of different ways that you can make money. And a lot of the successful franchises and places that work with athletes, they make money off the general population there too. And like I say, now I have the ability to train athletes, but it's not like the core of our business there. And we make a lot of money off of that over 40, off of that over 50, have an injury or two, they just want to get in shape. And it's kind of cool to have that wide variety of people that we work with there throughout the day. The next lesson here that the next thing that I wish I would have done or things that I've done but I maybe didn't start early enough, networking. It's about who you know. Better yet, who knows you. So this is a big thing. You have your networks in colleges, but in college there and your professors, but get out, join organizations there, get a chance to know different people. A lot of positions that I've been able to get hired for is because of my network. Most of my speaking and my writing positions there, jobs that I've had, they've come from going to conferences and just saying hello, getting a chance to know people. So network, get out of your comfort zone, go to these conferences. They'll be back soon. I know we're in COVID now. Get on the virtual conferences, connect with somebody on social media there, and have a conversation. It's going to go a long way if you have a habit of doing this. Block out the time to do this too. So don't treat it as just some random thing that you do every once in a while. It might be 30 minutes to an hour a week that you devote that time to going on social media, saying hello, saying great articles, connecting with these people there, sending out an email to somebody to ask them a question, to show that you're doing your research, that you know them. It's going to come back to help you later on here. Another thing we're going to go into, everyone is talented. So like the real difference makers, I keep going back to, it's more than your certification, it's more than your college degree there. So those people that are willing to hustle and outwork others, they're going to catch up with the talented ones. So a lot of times I know early in my career, there were people that they had everything. They had the books, they had a degree, they had all of this. They had these things, but they didn't put the work in. You put the work in, you out hustle these people, you're going to catch up with them in year 5, 10, 15. You're going to have a skill set that's going to set you apart from those people that don't work hard. So work ethic, emotional intelligence. Are you coachable, dependable? Do you have a growth mindset? Are you a team player? Strong communication skills, constantly developing those. You gritty, optimistic, a positive attitude. How are you going to respond when things do not go your way? You're going to keep pushing. These are the real difference makers when it comes to having a long career in fitness or anything there. So the next thing, take the time to find mentors there. People are willing to help you. Ask them questions there. If they're not willing to help you, move on, obviously, from them. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to reach out. The best investment I made, especially in having my business, is becoming a part of various coaching programs. There's no way I could have made it if I did not invest time and money and my effort into those programs there. They can teach you a lot. They can speed up this process. The next thing I'm going to touch on really quick, good information versus bad information. I think it's harder now because there's too much information out there. Social media is not always your best source of information. So is this information practical? A lot of textbook info, it breaks down on the training floor, meaning it does not work when you get to the training floor. So talking to those coaches and those mentors and seeing how they work things out when they get to the training floor, and so shows up a little later, they have an injury or two, or their goals are constantly changing. Has this information stood the test of time is the next thing here. So once again, we see different fads and trends and all this stuff coming in. Really do your research on there. So again, I'll touch on that. I could do an entire episode or entire thing on all of these topics, and I'll go back and touch on these later there. Put your comments and things you want to know more about in the comments section. All experience is good. Have patience there. In this industry and others, it's easy to beat your competition in the long game because a lot of people aren't playing the long game. They're playing the short game. They want things to happen overnight. They have a bad experience and they just give up. So play the long game. Make sure you love the game. You have a passion for the game, a passion for helping people, and you're going to be all right. And if you stay in that game, you're going to develop your skills over time. You're going to stand apart from the rest of the trainers. It's more than just how good you look, or posting selfies on Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff here. The trainers that are just focused on that shallow stuff, they're going to be around for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years at the most. Someone else is going to take them out there. The next person is going to come up. So develop your skill set, play the long game when it comes to your fitness career there. So that's a summary of the speech there. I could go into detail on all of this stuff. My goal is to go into detail on all of this stuff at a separate time. But if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section. Contact us using the information in the link below there. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for joining us.